Hey guys, Alex from the 7th Horror Films back again with Black Clover. Last time around we had Never Again, where Asta got some bad news from Dr. Owen, where he basically said that there was an ancient curse placed on his arms, which was preventing them from being healed by any form of healing magic. And Finral overheard this and told the rest of the Black Bulls, and they have all gone out and they are looking for a different cure, basically, and Asta is very happy that he is blessed with such incredible friends. And where we left off, Noelle was headed to a place with a dude with red hair who looks like he's straight out of One Piece, so we gotta figure out who this guy is and what he could possibly provide for her, so, yeah. I shouldn't say it like that, because he was also naked, and that's... yeah. Anywho. Yeah. Also, I'm still sick, because, it's like 10 minutes later after recording the last episode, so I'm still sick, but I'll get better. But like always, the reaction is down in the description and the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure, so let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Black Clover. Here we go. Alrighty, interesting new character. Again, we have no idea how Noelle knows about this guy, but there's always next episode. This episode is The Man Named Fanzell. The next episode is The Man Named Fanzell continued. So, but interesting stuff. Very, very interesting character. Again, the fact that this all takes place like between episodes 2 and 3 is crazy to me, That it's just like, this between episodes 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, Asta just went and did this whole thing with this guy who taught him how to use his sword, and he dealt with these, assassins from the Diamond Kingdom. That was back when he could barely use his sword, too, and it's just like, geez, there's a lot of stuff that you didn't tell us about. It does make me wonder, were there any hints to that? Or is that something that the author was just like, where do I put this? Let's just put it here. It fits neatly in there, so it'll work out. I mean, do you think Asta told Yuno about any of that, or... The thing is, he would tell him about that. Maybe Yuno doesn't care. Oh, who's Yuno gonna tell? But man, that was good. I like that, and I like Fanzell, or Zell. I like him. He's a very interesting character. I mean, I like Mariella too. She's very interesting because she is a very. See, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm half and half on her because on the one hand, it really does feel like she's kind of doing this under duress. She's really just doing it because she has to. They are forcing her to do this. It's either do this or the Diamond Kingdom will kill you. On the other hand, she kind of seemed to enjoy it a little bit when she was, talking. It was like, oh, yeah, all the other students are dead, Like, I don't know. It felt like she enjoyed that a little bit, but... but I don't know. I don't know, man. But just immediately, I like Fanzell. Just this... this is... This is just kind of like my character archetype that I like, and that's probably because I'm getting older now, too. For goodness sake, in just a couple weeks, I am turning 28. So, actually, when are you guys going to watch this episode? Well, if it goes up to Early Access on the 25th, it goes up to YouTube on July 2nd, so next week, when we do episode 57... when we do episode 57 and that gets posted to YouTube, that will actually be my birthday, is July 9th. So, but yeah, so anyway, so I'm turning 28 soon. So there's something appealing to me about characters like that. And maybe that's probably also why I like Lotus, because Lotus is that kind of, he's not the tip top, greatest fighter ever. He's just kind of older, but he's kind of set in his ways, and he does have, very good things in his life. For him, he has his family, and for Fanzell, he has his fiance if he can find her again, And there's a part of me that's really appealing to me now. If this was 5 years ago when we were watching My Hero and stuff, I don't know, but I've said that before about this show, where it's like, I'm at a different age to watch a shonen like this, I don't really want to be like Asta. I don't want to be a part of the Black Bulls being one of the greatest shonen heroes ever. It's like, I'm not really there anymore, 5 years ago or so, or, even earlier than that, when we were watching My Hero and stuff like that, I probably would have, I probably would have been closer to that, but no, nowadays I'm just, I don't know, I'm getting old, man. Honestly, I guess it's just after the pandemic, like, it's just like, I'm gonna chill out, I also exited my any sort of an edgelord phase that I had, which is why, like, there's a lot of edgier anime that I don't really care for, because it's just like, I don't want to watch edginess, which is why I like this, because Asta is not edgy. The most edgy thing in this show is, like, and even then, he's just kind of doing that because he's just kind of a loner, I don't know. There's nothing else that's really that edgy without also being ridiculous. Like, I guess Yami is kind of edgy, but he's kind of goofily edgy, and he's also up there of, like, he's that older, laid back kind of guy, and I enjoy those kinds of characters. So Fanzell is definitely up there. Lotus, Yami to an extent, even though Yami's fucking crazy, but just that sort of chill kind of older guy. Like, I like that archetype of characters. So, and yeah, he taught Asta how to use a sword because he has a bit of experience with it, using his wind magic, which I like that his wind magic is decidedly different from Yuno's, because Yuno mostly just uses it for, like, wind blasts, or, like, he'll create a bird or something, but the way Fanzell does it, he specifically creates swords in order to, and he can basically fire wind blades and stuff, but it's mainly concentrated on using a blade, and that's really cool. I like that. That's a good way of differentiating him from so I like that. So yeah, so I like that, and it was a good. It makes sense why Asta would also be so taken by him, like the fact that he would really follow him, because it's like, yeah, he's a good guy, he didn't laugh at him when he said he wanted to be the Wizard King and stuff, so it's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense why Asta kind of gravitates to this guy, And then we have the whole reveal of Mariella being a traitor. Technically, she's like a double traitor. She betrayed the Diamond Kingdom to help Fanzell, but then betrayed Fanzell to help the Diamond Kingdom, so what are you, a triple agent? No, I just lied about being a double agent. So, that's a quote from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I don't mind Kingdom of the Crystal Skull that much. It's obviously a lesser Indiana Jones movie, but it never really bothered me that much, so I don't know. And Dial of Destiny doesn't bother me either, so I don't view them as the worst things God has ever created, so yeah. Anyway. But yeah, it's very interesting. I also like, the whole thing of, like, the will to live, the reason to live. I love how Asta points out, it's like, you're not supposed to just have that automatically. Like, yes, your will to live was Domina, was your fiance. And it makes sense that now that you think she is dead, that, you're kind of out. You have no reason to live anymore. But you're not supposed to just immediately have that. Because, there's the classic, well, you lost someone, well, you gotta live for them and stuff. I love Asta doesn't say that at all. He just says, you gotta find a reason to live, Like, it's too soon for you to die, but you need to find a reason to live, So I like that. It's like, you're not supposed to just have that automatically. You need to go find it. And that honestly gives him the inspiration to find it, And his will to live is now to find Domina, and his will to live is that she is still alive, and he has to go save her. So So I like that. I mean, there's just something about, I don't know what this says about me, but it's like the archetype of a chill older guy, and he's going to try and find his fiance. It's like, I like that. And maybe that's why I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying like some romance animes that are like that, where it's just like an Archdemon's Dilemma, even though they're not that much older in that show, it's like, I kind of like that though. Here's this chill, kind of awkward guy and his really, really nice wife, and it's just like, let's just have that. Let's just have more of that, you know? But it's why, you know, that's why I also like Lotus. It's just like, here's this dude. He's just a dude. And, you know, why is he doing all this stuff? Because he's got to put bread on the table for his daughters. And I like that, you know? It's that sort of humanizing, I guess, that I really enjoy with these characters. And maybe that's why, you know, when you see, like, you know, when people compare, like, Marvel and DC comics, like, you know, DC is supposed to be about gods who come to our world, basically. I mean, not all the time, but you know what I mean. Whereas Marvel is a lot more, like, human street-level characters and stuff. And maybe that's it, where it's like, you know, I see Asta with these incredible things, and maybe that's also why I like Asta's, you know, like, yes, obviously, there is something special about Asta that he got this grimoire without magic and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's like he's had to put in the hard fucking work to get here, you know? Like, this grimoire didn't just come to him and now he's all powerful, you know? Like, here, we saw he's, you know, he gets this incredible magic nullifying sword, and that's so cool. Nothing on Earth can nullify magic. But it's still a gigantic sword. And even though he's really strong, because he's been working out for 15 years, he has to figure out how to actually wield a sword like that, you know? You know, like, if you go to a gym and you find just the biggest fucking gym rat, you know? Just this gigantic, like, you know, the archetypal Giga Chad, basically. If you give him a sword and you put him against someone who's probably not as muscular, but is an experienced swordsman, he's gonna lose, you know? He's gonna lose because he doesn't know how to use a sword, most likely, you know? And so I like that, you know, Asta does put in the hard work, you know? That's why we like these anime where they put in the hard work. That's why we like Dragon Ball. That's why we like, you know, Demon Slayer. Even My Hero Academia does that too, you know? Like, these, like, that is such a really nice thing. But at the same time, it's like, I do kind of prefer sort of the lower end characters. I mean, maybe, but that's why I like the Black Bulls, because they're all, even Asta is very human. Like, even, like, the closest to that is, like, Noelle, because Noelle kind of is all powerful, but then her trying to use it, you know, she has her very human complexes that make it a struggle for her to actually use her power. And that's compelling, you know? Whereas, you know, you get, like, Mars, who's, like, it seems to almost be, like, genetically engineered, basically, or, you know, put through the ringer. I mean, I guess he did have hard work, you know, in all the training and stuff, but still, it's like Mars, or just all the members of Golden Dawn, basically. It's like, they're awesome, they're extremely powerful and skilled, and it's just like, okay, cool, but that's not compelling. But that's why they're not the main characters, and I like that, so yeah, Fanzell, just immediately off the bat, maybe one of my favorite characters, just immediately. I mean, we've only had him for one episode, really, but immediately I'm like, oh, I'm invested in this guy, and I really want to see more of him. So I'm glad that we really seem to be, you know, obviously next episode we're going to be continuing this whole thing with him, and we have to see, you know, how does Noelle know him, and, you know, obviously she's going to him to, you know, for the cure for Asta's arms and stuff, so we're going to get a lot more of him, and I'm really glad, because I really, really like this guy. So yeah, another great episode. I fucking love this show, and it's so great. And on the one hand, I'm a little sad because I want to get to the next episode and see more of Fanzell. On the other hand, I don't, because I'm still sick. And I need to get better before we record another episode. Although I still have more stuff to record. I gotta record Delicious in Dungeon and The Sopranos next, so I'm gonna take a bit of a break. But yeah, but still, great stuff, and I'm really excited to see where we are going next. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Black Clover reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.